And there we are. Kate, how's things?
Excellent. How are
Oh, buzzing. Guys, I'm so excited to introduce Kate. Kate is an old friend. Where are you from, Kate?
I'm from Canada.
Unbelievable. Love this lady. Okay. And of course, we'll dive into everything she has accomplished. A good friend, and likewise has a handsome husband. Likewise, that sounds a bit weird. Don't tell Babs.
I
Don't tell Babs. Okay.
don't
Well,
know. Should I be offended? I'm a handsome woman.
yeah. Right, Alex, keep digging. Right, anyway, moving swiftly on from all of that. Right, let's start at the start. Let's tell us about what was going on. First of all, why did you get in touch? What were the main things that were bothering you, Kate?
I was actually thinking about this a little bit this morning because I had a feeling that this question would come up. And I never realized it before. And people that I've talked to have said the same thing. I was never actually diagnosed with depression, but the people that I was close to said that I kind of was, or at least I exhibited some signs of it, fairly mild, I admit. But depression, I think, is one of those things that you don't really notice that you're in it until you're out of it. When you realize how not normal it is. And so before, getting out of bed, it wasn't necessarily like a really big challenge because I have little kids and somebody's got to feed them, take care of them, stuff like that. But there was no joy in it. There was no, I don't want to say purpose because I did have a purpose, but there was no like enthusiasm in it. There's no looking forward to it. It was more like a drudgery every day. On top of that, not having no self-confidence. I was comfortable with who I was as a person, but no desire to change or better myself. And I think my weight had a lot to do with that. I would always, I think I mentioned in our group, my sisters and I are very competitive. And I don't know if that's intrinsic or not, but I was always comparing myself to my very fit sister and never measuring up. Now she can still like whoop my butt in a foot race. That's no question. But for now, like we're fairly on par with our strength, and I don't feel self-conscious next to her in a photo. Like these things are just huge to me, and I think I told you I was going to ramble. I think the reason that I reached out was because my husband had presented it as an option multiple times, and I didn't want to, how do I say this? I didn't want to bring your view of him down by my by my lack of self-care or my lack of, I don't know if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Of course I do, Kate. Of course
Okay.
I do. I want to stop you there for a second.
Because, yeah, please do.
No, I'm stopping you there, not because I'm not enjoying what you're saying. I'm stopping you because I think that's incredibly brave, what you just said. So you just said that you felt reluctant to move forward because, in case I would think less of Edward because of where you were. And my God, is it the opposite? I think that I think that Ed was doing even better for himself. I think it's remarkable, but we'll get on to that in a minute. But I want you to just be aware of that. My God, it couldn't be further from the truth, Kate.
Well, I think I know that now. But of course, there is always that like self-consciousness that you have to kind of overcome. And I think I eventually got to a point where I was like, you know what, I don't like who I am anymore. And I want to change some things about me. And I think the wanting to change is what really um, made me be like, okay, I'll give Alex a call. I'll see what he's got. And I'm so glad I did. Oh my goodness. I can't, basically every positive thing that you say about your program, that applies to me.
Well, look, first of all, what did you try, Kate? What did you try before you met us?
Um, I think it all started way back in high school. Um, I kind of told myself that I was doing it uh, for my mom, for my sister, who were trying. They're older. Obviously, my mom's older than me, duh. But my mom, my sister, was also kind of doing a diet sort of thing. It was um, it was actually a fairly decent diet, but I had no real reason to. But that's kind of the first exposure, I guess, I had to a diet, and I was probably, I mean, it was really good. I can't say hi, Babs.
Hi, sorry.
That's okay. After that, I went to college and did not diet. And then I came back from college and met my wonderful husband. And of course, when you're getting married, there's a lot of pressure to look your absolute best. And, you know, just everybody's looking at you. So you want to be super small, super thin, super fit. So I did put a lot of effort into that. I can't say that it was really dieting, but it was definitely a good long shot at being the healthiest I can be. I think I'd like to say that I was always fairly health conscious throughout my entire life. And then kids happened.
What happened then? Did you gain weight after the kids?
Absolutely. So after my first, I think I put on like close to 40 pounds during pregnancy, which is not super unhealthy or anything like that. But then there's always that stubborn 5 to 7 pounds that wouldn't go away afterwards. And then I really struggled with finding the time to actively like really get rid of that. And I think just slowly over time, being a new mom, just started to form some really bad habits of not prioritizing the food that I eat or the time that I would need. And I mean, so hard to tell a new mom, like, you must prioritize yourself because you have this little one that's like completely dependent on you and you're so new to everything. But at the same time, yeah, that last 5 to 10 pounds or 5 to 7 pounds didn't go away. Then after my second child, it was like the last 10 to 12 pounds that wouldn't go away afterwards. And it just kind of slowly started snowballing. And I would eventually, you know, I think what it came down to, I was just eating the wrong things. You know, my percentages of macros and stuff were way skewed for what they really should be. But then eventually, as the kids got older, I now have 3 kids. And as they're all a little bit older, I've noticed, especially going through this program, I tend to stress eat, which I never really noticed before. I don't know why, but it would always be like the kids kind of get my like heart rate up a little bit. It's just like they're not leaving me alone, and I'm just gonna grab a snack because it's comfort. And I felt like I needed something to kind of calm me down. And so, yeah, just really unhealthy habits. And then I did try, there's like, when lockdown hit, there was all these like Facebook ads popping up about like lockdown challenge and lose like X number of weight or whatever, for the 4-week lockdown that we were going to have.
Absolutely. 18 months later.
Yeah, that's right. So I did complete that. And that was kind of the first time that I've actually lost a decent amount of weight. Because before it would it was just fluctuating so much. But I never really had the habits.
That you tried, Kate, what made you feel they weren't sustainable? What made you feel that it wasn't sustainable?
It was adding more to my day than it was changing what was already in it. Does that make sense? So instead of addressing the emotional and psychological things that are going on, it was just be active more. Magically come up with more time in your day to complete these exercises, and you'll drop the weight.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, I think there's a lot of misinformation, like what you were saying on the live, just busting out some myths yesterday. And, cardio, everyone thinks that you have to do cardio in order to lose the weight. And really that's not, it's part of fitness, but it's not what's going to actually change your body shape. Right?
I'm going to pull this down before you can't see me, which will happen in a second with the sun. But you're right, and people often fall into that misconception that you have to burn calories consistently in order to stay thin. You have to over-restrict to stay thin. Whereas I'm sure you're well aware now, Kate, it's about maintaining your metabolism, but also being able to live a life where you're not starving, when you're actually enjoying food. And look, let's talk about the wins, Kate. What have you achieved? What have you achieved, Kate?
So I was very, very proud of this for myself, which is a new thing for me ever since starting this program. And it's not a super fast time, but it was my personal best, and it was 5K under 30 minutes. Wow. That's never happened before. 1, because I never liked running. 2, I never stuck with running long enough to actually see any real progression in that regard. But one thing that this program has taught me is to constantly push and challenge myself, and to set new goals. So that was one thing where I've always heard that people love running once you kind of like stick with it a little bit. And I can't say that I love it, but it's definitely a lot better. So that was one thing that I've achieved. Amazing. I've lost 25 pounds. So I weigh lighter. I weigh lighter than my husband, which is the first time since ever knowing him. And we've known each other since we were 14. So that's kind of a huge win for me.
Massive. That's, by the way, just under 2 stone, guys, for those of you speaking in old money or UK money. Just under 2 stone, 25 pounds, you say 24 pounds?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. I kind of ran a couple numbers. It's 19 centimeters off my waist. So that's, and I mean, really, like, I think as a woman, generally speaking, this blanket statement, I probably shouldn't make those, but I would say that's kind of the area that most women want to deal with a lot. So that for me is huge. I haven't actually done the math on the other numbers yet, but
that is massive. Massive case. What are your clothes like?
So we were traveling a lot when I was in the Sustainable Change program. Yeah. So I only had like 10 changes of clothes with me that we brought. Eventually, Ed, my husband, was like, "You need to go shopping." And then by the time we got home, I basically chucked out half my wardrobe because they were just so big. They made me look bigger than I actually was because there was no shape to them left. It was, and then my pants and shorts didn't really stay up on me anymore, which was kind of cool. I mean, they would, but you take a step and you're kind of pulling them up, and so that's pretty awesome. What else?
Okay.
I think, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Stop me from rambling.
No, it's phenomenal. I mean, your clothes are different, your centimeters are different, obviously. You've lost almost 2 stone. But again, where you started from, as in fear, the fact that I would think differently of you, the fear of the fact that it wouldn't work, and the fact that you tried so many things in the past as well. While they give you results, if they don't work long term, eventually it stops working. And I'm sure there's more than one person watching this who has had kids and went through the same struggles in terms of weight gain. Extremely, extremely common. But the magic question is, first of all, what makes you think it's sustainable? What makes you think you'll be able to maintain these results now, Kate?
The increased knowledge that you've given, just the knowledge around different types of food and what they mean for your body. But more so, I think, is the the psychological change. Like I mentioned before, that I was struggling a little bit just to get up out of bed. Even just having that desired change to actually look forward to my day. These things are life-changing, and that is something that none of the other things ever gave me. And just the priority on, like, the teaching and the training on priority on self. I was raised to not think about yourself, to serve others, and that is a good thing. But it also,
your mother is watching. Debbie's here. I can see her.
Hi, Mom.
Hello, Debbie. Give us a wave. For those you don't know, Debbie's also in sustainable change. She's crushing it. Incredible lady. Go ahead, Kay. Apologies.
No, that's okay. And I think it's really important, though, to be able to set aside time for yourself so that you can be your best for others. And that's not something that was ever being enforced or taught or really focused on. And I think me having those habits in place will help me to continue to make the good choices, to make the healthy choices, instead of defaulting to, I don't have time. Now it's, I make time. Instead of, I have to do everything for my kids, it's, well, no, you can actually do that. I mean, maybe it's easier if I do it for you, but it's not actually something that I have to do. You can do that yourself. And just little things like that, that I don't want to go back from. I like my life a lot better now than I did before.
Oh, and I've heard that from Edward so many times, by the way. He speaks so highly of you in terms of what you've done, so Kate, you're really doing it. You're really doing it. And those of you who don't know, Kate got back into her wedding dress the first time in how long?
10 years. Yep, 10 years. It was really fun. I actually did my hair and my makeup, and I tried to do it similar to like how it was on my wedding day. Of course, I can tell the difference in the photos. I see, I mean, as great as your program is, the wrinkles are still going to be there, Alex. It's not going to fix that necessarily. So, I mean, I can tell the difference, but there's even been a couple of people who have commented that say that they can't really tell. Part of it, I think, is like the tan lines are even in the same spot. So, I mean,
That's
yeah, no, it was a
unbelievable.
really good feeling.
Kate, that is just phenomenal. I mean, I'm actually speechless. I think it's just to be able to, with the obstacles that you have of obviously running the household, and to bring it back there to where you were 10 years ago, you must feel incredible.
I do. It's still I would say that it's still like a challenge to kind of let myself feel that way almost. But I am kind of proud of what I've accomplished and the work that I've put in, because it is work. It is, there's no
Magic pill,
hesitancy.
potion.
Yeah, it's right. Like, but it is directly proportional to the effort that you put in. And for some people, I think it's going to be more psychological. Some people might be more of a struggle physically. I don't know, but I think in general, as I said, I'm so happy with where I'm at. I'm not ready to stop or like maintain, and I want to keep going. I want to, I don't know, I should just say it so that there's some accountability.
Yeah.
I will get to 5K under 25.
Yes. Oh, yes, Kate, of course you will. Kate, I actually think, from speaking to Francis, I think you will get to it at 21. I think you have what is needed to get to 21 minutes for a 5K. And whenever that happens, I want to see, you're well able for it. I want to see a screenshot of you doing that, Kate. I really do. And look, there's loads of people here who could only dream to be able to get back into their wedding dress, lose the weight after they've gained it following kids, and also, well, be an athlete as you're becoming, as you are right now, Kate. So what would you say to someone who's on the fence, high in the self-doubt department, really doesn't believe they can do it? What would you say?
I would say you can do it if you want to do it. But you have to want to do it. And you have to be ready to do it. Because no one can force you and no one can make you accomplish the things, but you have to have a dream and you have to work at it in order to see it come true.
And what Kate's talking about there are your whys, and that's so true. You need to have reasons. You need to have reasons to why you're doing it. If you're not clear on why you want to do it, you won't. No one will. And Kate, thank you for that. That is so inspiring. People are commenting here. Tina Brewster, the photos you posted there, amazing. Susan Logan says, wow. David McQueen is here in full strength. Great to see you.
Hello.
Great to see you, Debbie. Hello, Kate's mom. Well, look, Kate, thank you for hopping on. It has been brilliant to hear your story properly. And of course, you're only getting started. And I will hold you accountable to 5K. Doing your wedding dress. How about that?
No way, that thing is like 15 pounds on its own.
No way. There we go. It's a challenge. Kate, from the bottom of my heart, congratulations. You are one hell of a human being. You're one hell of a human.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day, Kate.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.